So this is the 9th time Rodman has been suspended, either by the league or by his own team. He remains what he long has been, someone who'd have to move up several notches in order to qualify as a fool. His act is so predictable and uninspired that the only thing that remains truly annoying about the Rodman situation is the number of people who persist in the belief that Dennis Rodman somehow stands for something, that he's a rebel who bucks the system. In fact, the system rewards Dennis Rodman. He risks nothing through his behavior. He is as bad as he wants to be, not out of principle, but because at least to this point, he can get away with it, and it sells. Muhammad Ali stood for something. Jackie Robinson, Arthur Ashe, Billie Jean King, all stood for something. What they did involved conviction and personal and professional risk. If Rodman, rewarded with endorsements and a mindless kind of celebrity, stands for anything at all, it is as an unwitting symbol of how crass and empty the whole concept of who is worthy of our attention, and in some cases adulation, has become. Let's turn to Dr. J. I know you think these days about what's going to happen with Rodman when his career is finally over.
I do. I'm appalled by this situation. And I'm asked quite often as a retired player, are there any things in my career that I would have done differently? Certainly when Dennis's friends asked him once it's all over, would he have done anything differently? He's going to look back at all these suspensions, the fines, the possible criminal charges, and he's obviously going to feel very bad about this. I think that his agent, his handlers, his cronies, they have to invest some time sitting when they're doing their think tank thing about how to bring attention to Dennis. Think about doing something for the good of the game. You know, Dennis, I'm making a plea to you. Think about this with your guys, other than just bringing attention to yourself. What's good for the game of basketball? Because once you're out of it, you're going to look back and wish that you had given something back.
You know, I mentioned Ali and Ashe and some others, but in a quiet way, a less political way, but a classy way, guys like you, guys like Sandy Koufax or Kirby Puckett or Cal Ripken, they all stand for something too. I don't know what this guy stands for, but meanwhile, what about the penalty? What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, nobody ever put Rodman in his category, or any of the people that you mentioned, except you. You put him in that same paragraph.
No. People say he stands for something. People say he stands for something as a rebel.
Nobody's saying that. He's getting endorsements out of this. We're all mortified by what he did. There's no doubt about it. He's been a disgrace to himself, to the team, and to every cross-dressing power forward in the NBA. But for once, he probably should have put his foot in his mouth instead of on somebody else. At the same time, I think the league definitely went overboard here. What they're doing is they're making him a martyr out of the guy. The people who right away said, hey, he deserves to be penalized, he deserves 5 games. I would have been satisfied with 5 games. Now, I think this enhances his image to some degree, because the league is kind of making him a martyr. You know, they talk about repeat offender. Yeah, he's a repeat offender, and he's paid the price almost every time. It's double jeopardy to me, and I think they went overboard.
All right, well, our conversation, I guess, will continue during the commercial, but the Bulls